She arrived at the Los Angeles International Airport just after midnight on June 19, 1991. A quiet woman, early 30s, light brown hair tied neatly behind her head, and a calm posture that never hinted at the storm she was about to create. She waited in line like everyone else, holding her passport, her backpack in one hand, and a small silver badge clipped to her jacket, something the immigration officer noticed immediately. The badge didn't look like any country's emblem. It was unfamiliar, almost futuristic, but the officer didn't think much of it until he opened her passport. He blinked twice. The passport wasn't from the United States. It wasn't from any country on Earth. The cover was navy blue, but the symbol stamped in the center was like nothing he had ever seen, an abstract globe surrounded by 5 rings. He opened it. Under nationality, it said, United Nations of Earth. For a moment, the officer wondered if it was some kind of prank. Maybe a movie prop, a joke, or part of a sci-fi convention. But the document felt real, heavy, textured, laminated with precision. The barcode scanned. The machine didn't reject it. Instead, it flashed green, pulling up information the officer didn't understand. A name, a birth date, a place of origin, Sector 4, Western Region. He stared at the woman. She stared back calmly. "Ma'am, what country is this from?" he asked. She tilted her head slightly. "I already told you," she said. "The United Nations of Earth." He tried again. "Which Earth?" The woman frowned, confused. "This one," she answered quietly. "Is something wrong?" Her tone wasn't sarcastic. It wasn't mocking. She sounded genuinely confused, like she believed every word she said. The officer called for a supervisor. Within minutes, airport security escorted her to a private room for questioning. She went without resistance, quietly folding her hands on the table when she sat down. She asked for water, thanked the officers, and waited patiently. The lead immigration investigator entered the room. He set her passport on the table and pushed it gently toward her. "Where did you get this?" She blinked. "It was issued to me," she said, "before my assignment." "What assignment?" "To visit your Earth." The investigator exchanged glances with his partner. "What do you mean, your Earth?" he asked. She hesitated, looking down as if searching for the right words. "I don't think I'm in the correct sector," she said softly. "The skyline looked different when I landed." The investigators pressed her for details. And the more she explained, the deeper the mystery grew. She spoke of an Earth where all nations had merged decades earlier into a single global government. No flags, no wars, one currency, one system, one unified identity. She said her world was divided into zones and sectors, each represented by councils. She showed them her silver badge. It wasn't metal they recognized. It was too light, too smooth, almost warm to the touch. "Your world is fragmented," she said gently. "I didn't expect that." The investigators asked her how she arrived here. She described a travel system that didn't exist, something that sounded like a mixture of advanced aviation and dimensional physics. But she insisted she didn't jump universes intentionally. She believed something malfunctioned, a routing error, a misalignment. She believed she was still on Earth, just not her Earth. When they asked her where she was staying, she gave an address in a neighborhood that didn't exist. When they asked her to point to her home on a map, she grew visibly upset. "This map is wrong," she whispered. "Your entire geography is incomplete." The investigators continued questioning her for hours. They checked databases worldwide. Interpol was contacted. Every passport registry on the planet returned the same result. No match, no country, no existence. Her fingerprints weren't in any system. Her identifiers matched no human database. Her passport scanned valid, then invalid, then unreadable, as if the machine couldn't decide how to classify information it had never encountered before. But the strangest detail came next. When technicians examined her passport under UV light, they found inscriptions in a language no one recognized. Symbolic, circular, almost mathematical. It didn't appear printed. It appeared woven into the fibers of the document. Meanwhile, the woman remained calm. She never changed her story. She never contradicted herself. She never showed confusion, only concern. At 3:14 a.m., she leaned forward and asked a question that sent chills down the spine of everyone in the room. "What year is it for you?" The investigator replied carefully. 1991. She covered her mouth with her hand, her eyes filling with fear. "That's not possible," she whispered. "It should be 2091. For the first time that night, she looked genuinely terrified. They moved her to a secure holding room for further evaluation. A guard stayed outside. Cameras monitored her continuously. At 4:23 a.m., the guard checked the monitor. The woman was sitting on the bed, calm, hands folded. At 4:24 a.m., the screen flickered. 1 second, no more. When the video returned, the bed was empty. The woman was gone. Not escaped. Not walked out. Not picked a lock. Gone. The door had never opened. The guard never left his post. There was no vent large enough for a person to fit. There was no window, no tunnel, no alarm. She simply vanished between one frame and the next. Investigators tore the room apart. They checked every hallway, every corridor, every camera feed. Nothing, not a single trace of her remained. The passport that had caused all the chaos, it was still on the table in the interview room, but it no longer scanned. It no longer displayed data. The symbols inside had faded, like ink dissolving into the paper. By morning, it was a blank book. The case was sealed. The footage was classified, and the woman was never seen again. To this day, every officer involved gives the same answer when questioned. We don't know where she came from, we don't know where she went, and we don't know if she was ever one of us. But one investigator, now retired, once admitted something off the record. The way she talked, the things she described, the details she knew. If she was lying, she was the best liar the world has ever seen. And if she wasn't lying... He paused before finishing. Then she didn't disappear. She just went home.